blind, I just wanna see the light. Breathe in, leave it all behind, I just wanna see the light. Even if it makes
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dee and this is the Optimistic Network. Today we're making one of my favorite Manish Wata, Jamaican Manish Wata, or goated soup we call it, but this not gonna have any goat head. I'm pretty sure I see a piece of ears in it, but we call it goated soup or Manish Wata. In place of our goat head, we're using the goat meat with the skin on. They call it burnt goat. But it's pretty much just goat with the skin on, and to get the hair off, I guess they burnt it. But it smells so good and you can tell a ram goat. And what I love about it, they mix it with a lot of different parts of the goat. So it's not just the regular goat meat, because I'm sure I got a piece of ears in it. Now here I'm cutting up my vegetables to put in the soup. I'm using some carrots, some pumpkin, some turnip, and some chocho or chayote squash. Keep in mind, a lot of people don't use pumpkin in this soup, and if you don't use pumpkin, it's okay. But know that you're not going to get the yellow color that you see that I ended up with. You're going to get a creamish, grayish, light grayish color. So I washed my goat, cleaned it up properly, cut them small, and I put them to boil. I really don't know where the clip is where I showed you all that, but I'm just telling you, wash it, cut it up, and put them to boil. While those are boiling, I go ahead and I cut up my vegetables, which I said were pumpkin, turnip, chocho or chayote squash, and carrots. As soon as I got done cutting them up, I added them to the pot. So probably 20 minutes into the meat boiling, I added them to the pot. What I did, I added a half of them, because this is the secret to getting your soup nice and thick and just hearty. Add a half of your vegetables and let those boil with the meat. So you know those are going to boil out because the vegetables are softer than the meat. And you leave the other half until you get ready to add the foods, which are these we're adding today. We're adding green bananas, we're adding cocoa, and we're adding yam, but it's white yam. I don't have yellow yam, but the white yam was so good in it. I'm also going to use dumplings, so I needed my flour and set that aside. I cut up my bananas in the skin. I just cut them round. Here I have some thyme, some scallion, and some chili pepper. I don't have scotch bonnet, or else that's what I would be using. So thyme, scallion, chili pepper, add those to the pot. Keep in mind that before I add this scallion and all that, the meat has boiled about 80% or 75% already. Seemed like I even lost the clip where I showed you guys where I added the bananas and the cocoa. Just the ground food, I added those. I didn't add the yam as yet. I added my ram goat soup. I brought this from New York and I'm so glad I did. I stirred that up. I added a little more water because by the time this boiled down, it's going to be the perfect amount. So I added some more water. So now everything is in the pot. I also added the extra vegetables that I had put down. So that means I added the extra pumpkin, turnip, carrots, and everything that I had cut up and added a half before. I added the second half when I added the food. Remember to keep stirring. We don't want them sticking to the pot bottom, especially after you add that noodle soup, that ram goat noodle soup. Remember to keep stirring. So you cover down your pot to boil and you stir every so often. You just open it and stir. Then I went ahead and seasoned my pot. I used some Tony Chachery Creole seasoning, some onion powder, some garlic powder. I used the little oxtail seasoning too because I love the little kick of spice from it. Plus, I've been liking this oxtail seasoning for real. After I did all that, I added the white yam because the white yam is soft. And if you notice, I cut my food smaller. In Jamaica, when we're cooking it, home cooked meal, usually they're cut bigger, but I kind of like the style of cutting them smaller. Here I'm adding my white yam. From here, I just need to leave everything to boil, stirring occasionally. So this is the home run. So what's going to happen now, everything is going to boil and the sauce is also going to reduce a little to the thickness that I like. I don't like my soup too thick. So you'll see there's where I added a little more water. You'll see how thick I made mine, but keep in mind you can make it as thick as you want. Usually if too much water in it, if it's too, we call it long water. So usually we don't like long water soup. We like soup rich and thick, and that was my soup, rich and thick. And this is how you get the rich and thick, by boiling a half of the vegetables first. Let those kind of crush out. So what they're gonna do is crush out in the soup sauce. It's gonna crush out. Here I'm adding a little more garlic powder, onion powder, because what I'm doing now, as soon as it boils, I stir it up and I taste. So don't just add a whole lot of seasoning and the next thing you know, your soup is salty. You Add some seasoning, stir it up, and you could just taste as you go along as it boils. Be sure to let the seasoning boil out a little before you taste it, and get another little spoon. That's what I usually do. I don't double dip. I don't taste from the same spoon that I'm cooking with. Get another little spoon and you taste it. If you think you want a little more salt, you can put a little more of the Tony seasoning. If you notice, I didn't cook with salt because when I'm using the Tony, I don't use salt. Also, the ram goat noodle soup that has salt in it. And I used a little Maggi at the end when it needed a little more salt. I just use a little Maggi seasoning. And always remember to stir after adding all these seasonings so you spread. Even sometimes the seasoning may create a little ball. You don't want be eating and you taste season a little ball of seasoning. No, be sure to stir everything out properly. Another thing I did that I didn't mention, when I was boiling the goat meat, when I was putting on the goat meat to boil, I used a lot of garlic. I used like about 1 dozen, about 12 pimento seeds or allspice berry. And I used about an inch of ginger. I just cut it in two. I didn't mince it up fine. But garlic, ginger, and pimento seed, boil your goat with that. So the black things you see floating around, those are pimento seeds. About 5 minutes after this pot here, my soup cooked down to my desired thickness. And I share it out. And this was so flipping good. Everybody enjoyed this. And I am so happy to find something that mimics goat head. So something a meat, which is the goat with the skin on or the burnt goat, that I'm able to use to make some Manish Wata. Because I think this is my first time making Manish Wata in America because I've never found the proper piece of goat. But this is the proper goat to make your Manish Wata. And I know I should have told you guys this earlier, but it's better late than never. That if you're not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and smash that subscribe button, turn your notification bells on, and get active in the comments. So here's my finished Manish Wata. I don't know, I wish you guys could taste it. It tastes so good, better than how it looks. And guys, I'm telling you that if you ever run into that skin on goat, give it a try. Don't be shy, give it a try. And another thing to give a try, guys, is this soup. It is not hard at all. The hardest part is boiling the goat. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in my next upload.